You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines. Local government PS compares the arcade's flyover bridge to those in Las Vegas. Fire sweeps through a house in LUSAKA'S KANYAMA compound. Girl 10 defiled by 22-year-old man in MUSHINDAMO district. In international news, COVID cases increase rapidly as next steps planned. And in international news, CHIPOLOPOLO beaten in Kenya in international friendly. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444-726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
With the details, my name is LUSAKA'S. Imagine losing your household property with the current economic challenges in the country. This is the predicament of Linda Kazolo, a single mother of 4 and a vegetable trader at KANYAMA market. Fire swept through her house Friday afternoon, destroying a number of her household property. The fire, which started around 14 hours, was only put off by the victim's neighbors using buckets of water. At the time of the incident, the owner of the house was still at the market. One of the victim's sons cried uncontrollably after losing his treasured school shoes in the inferno. By broadcast time, ZESCO was being blamed for the fire, saying it started immediately after power was restored after being on load management.
I was seated to my house there. Then I just heard that there's a fire from my neighbor here. We have to rush to see her, and the fire was caught inside the area. I went to the back window. We saw a big flame of fire. So I had to, my friends and my colleagues had to organize water from my well and to come and to help me pour water inside. But the young men demanded to go inside and put water and take everything out. With the money was there, was a bank. How to fix so many things, you can't go with all money. Michael, just go down. Calm down. It's about the school. Yeah, I know. Calm down. It's not easy. It's better the shoes to get banned than the human school.
650 inaponya 650 ngatoenda nino man.
While campaigning for the Kalengwa ward by-election in Mufumbwe district of Northwestern Province, the Patriotic Front PF anchored their campaigns on reopening of the controversial Kalengwa mine. The PF told the people of Kalengwa and those in Mufumbwe that once voted during the by-elections, government will work towards the reopening of the mine for the benefit of the people of the area and Zambia as a whole. But now, government through Vice President President Inonge Wina says government's hands are tied on the possibility of reopening the Kalengwa mine. The Vice President explains that this is because the matter pertaining to the ownership of the mine is being contested for in the courts of law. Ms. Wina states that even as much as government would want to open the mine so as to benefit the people of Kalengwa, it cannot do so until the matter is disposed of in the courts of law. The Vice President said this in Parliament Friday morning when responding to a question raised by Mufumbwe Member of Parliament Eliot Kamondo, who wanted to know when government will reopen the mine now that the PF had won the Kalengwa by-elections on the 17th of September 2020.
The people of Mufumbwe have always asked this government to open Kalengwa mine. And during the by-election which was there in Kalengwa, the PF government promised the people of Kalengwa that the mine was going to be opened if they voted for them. Now, Honourable Vice President, what are the plans for Kalengwa mine? When are you going to open Kalengwa mine? Thank you, Honourable Mr. Speaker.
Government is very anxious to open Kalengwa mine, but government is constrained by the fact that the cases regarding Kalengwa mine have been in courts of law for the past so many years. So government cannot make a decision on an issue that is still in court. Definitely we would like to see that mine open because it will change the economic life of the community in that area. The chiefs have been requesting government to open the mine, but government's hands are tied because of the court actions.
This week, on the 6th of October 2020, during a stakeholders meeting at Chief Kizela's Palace, Mufumbwe Patriotic Front PF aspiring Member of Parliament Stephen Masumba, while on his knees, pleaded with President Edgar Lungu to intervene in the wrangles surrounding the mine. Mr. Masumba said the mine has the potential to change the political fortunes of President Edgar Lungu and the PF as a whole.
Tata bakizera twimisanchira nobe ba PF kubamba you assisted us to win that seat. Every time I've visited the chief, he has always guided me to work with you, Your Excellency. And Your Excellency, we pray that the cry of a chief is a cry for the people of Mufumbwe. The people of Mufumbwe, Your Excellency, are crying before you. Hear them, Your Excellency. Give them a chance, Your Excellency. Give them what belongs into their hands, Your Excellency. And the rest should be left into their hands. And I can assure you, Your Excellency, that this issue, even in your political standing in Northwestern Province, not only in Northwestern Province, but in Mufumbwe in particular, will not be the same.
A 10-year-old girl of St. Dorothy area in Mushindamo district of Northwestern Province has been defiled by a 22-year-old man of the same area. The girl in question is a grade 3 pupil at Kansemfu Basic School. According to the police, Jonathan Mwansa pounced on the girl and forced himself on her as she was heading home from the market around 18 hours. A police report further indicated that the girl sustained a bruised private part and abdominal pains. The suspect has since been arrested and is expected to appear in court soon and charged with defilement. And moving on in the news, Minister of General Education Dr. Dennis Wanchinga says stakeholders contributing on the debate surrounding the comprehensive sexual education in Zambia seem to have misunderstood the concept behind the syllabus. Dr. Wanchinga has meanwhile said suspending CSE would have meant losses which the country has already gained and would have sent a wrong message to the outside world. He adds that the CSE has in one way contributed to the reduction of teenage pregnancy in the country by 19%. Speaking at a joint press briefing with Minister of National Guidance and Religious Affairs, the minister asked Zambians to give the proposed syllabus a chance. We have more in this report.
Debates have continued over the controversial topic concerning comprehensive sexual education, with some stakeholders like the church and political players refusing the introduction of this subject in the education curriculum. 2 days ago, Chamber Member of Parliament moved a motion before Parliament to suspend it. However, Vice President Inongewina said a consultation from a group of technocrats was to be made over the same issue. This morning, the Minister of General Education and Religious Affairs held a joint press briefing where they gave government position over the same issue.
By implementing this program, we have reduced the early pregnancies among our children by 19%. And also it would have meant then that we would have sent a wrong message to this, and also the question of just realigning. As you know, there has been a lot of exaggerations in terms of what's being taught in our schools. Some of the material that you have seen on public media, on social media, is material that has been lifted and circulated from outside. Certainly, our curriculum has been very firm in ensuring that we remove the toxic material from our children. But of course, there could have been some seepage, and that's why the working group is being constituted to examine the seepage that may have gone into our curriculum. So we remove this, realign this to the values the Honourable Minister was talking about.
This time, government has decided that it goes through a second consultation after concerns were raised from the public questioning its content.
Because we would like to see the issue of national values and principles really, taken into the programs. Would like our children to begin to understand these values as we make an effort in actualizing them. So we are very, very excited, and we shall definitely work hand in hand as you review your curriculum generally. Yeah, but also this particular one, CSC, it's a wonderful opportunity again for the people of Zambia to have a voice in this. And also let me say that at the end of the day, we want the best interest of the child to be taken into account.
That's right.
I say that as a people, we have very rich culture. We have values, in our culture that we need to pass on to our children. So even in this CSE, that issue has to be reflected, our cultural standing.
Comprehensive sexual education was introduced into Zambia's education curriculum in 2014 with technical guidance and support from other partners. Launched by the Ministry of Education, the lessons were integrated into the coursework for grade 5 to 12. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
We now take our first set of commercials. To stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Zambia Congress of Trade Union Secretary General Cosmas Mukuka says there is urgent need to develop a multi-dimensional rapid response mechanism to enable workers recover their livelihood due to the stringent measures being employed by government as COVID-19 hits the country. Mr. Mukuka adds that trade unions are ensuring that trade union rights are at the center of the COVID-19 response and ensuring that the emerging occupational protection health risks are controlled. Speaking during the rapid gender assessment of COVID-19 impact on workers' rights, Mr. Mukuka says decent work for women is a priority to recognize that women are critical agents of equality at places of work and in society. He says the assessment of government's response through its statutory provisions was intended to provide trade unions, its social partners, and other key stakeholders with better understanding and information to support workers' rights.
Women form a bigger group of those who are in the informal sector, self-employed and others who are in formal employment also. You have a smaller number to that effect. So as it's still, we just wanted to have an assessment. If the COVID goes beyond where we are, what do we do? What recommendations do we make to government and employers on the most vulnerable group of the women? That's what we did. And hence coming up with the rapid gender assessment tool, which will help us to guide on how best to tackle this with the recommendations. Now at this stage, we also feel the rapid gender assessment tool we have can also help us, even in other future pandemic, where we could also see how a vulnerable group of women are looked at. So we are here to present the rapid assessment study. We are here also to even pronounce ourselves to what should be recommendations. And amongst the recommendations is to narrow down on the gender gap, equity in places of work, and to come up with certain recognition of women conditions, especially the issues to do with the care, the issues to do with the certain jobs where women have been looked upon as not being not recognized at places of work. So those are some of the recommendations you will see in the document. And going forward, we have to also embrace the women in working places because they have a unique feature. If we embrace properly, can add value to every working place.
Corteva Zambia Limited has appealed to journalists in the Eastern Province to adequately sensitize farmers so that they can embrace agriculture technologies that mitigate climate change. Company Relationship Manager Deborah Tembo says journalists are very instrumental partners that can work with Corteva Zambia Limited in spearheading government's agenda that targets the increase increasing maize yields among farmers in order to make Zambia the grain basket in southern Africa. Speaking during a media engagement luncheon held at Yamumfinzi Hotel in Chipata district under the theme "The Media, Our True Partner in Sustainable Development," Ms. Tembo said farmers, with the help of media houses, can be reached with messages that would help them plant the seed that would improve their yields when harvesting. We have more in this report.
Government is working with various stakeholders to improve agriculture production as the country faces ravages of climate change. Koteva Zambia Limited is effectively working to supplement government efforts of improving maize yields among farmers in the country. The agro company organized a media luncheon in Eastern Province in order to partner with journalists so that the farmers can be adequately sensitized on the use of agriculture practices that can enhance maize yields. Koteva Zambia Limited Relationship Manager Deborah Tembo said the company is working to foster government's agenda of improving productivity among farmers.
But why is it that the farmer is not getting that tonnage that hybrid promises? Among other things, because they lack information on the right practices in agriculture. So realizing this as an organization, we felt to come up with a strategy to engage the media, work closely with the media to help disseminate that very important information down to the farmers that can help increase productivity.
Panaseed agronomist Canon Mukuma and pioneer senior agronomist Henry Kamwale made presentations.
We are there to work for our farmers hand in hand, and we want to understand the challenges and the risks that we face so that together we can manage attain the optimal yields that our products are able to deliver.
Our call to the farmers is that they should always be on the lookout around this time. They should make sure that they buy seed accredited agro dealers. Every year we conduct training to agro dealers. These are the guys, businessmen and women that we have worked with closely for a long time, and we understand their ethical and got that business relationship.
Samuel Njovu gave a vote of thanks on behalf of media houses in Eastern Province.
We thank you and we appreciate it. I mean, you take a journalism across the province, which is good, and there's commitment from colleagues here that if you engage us in the right manner, then we will definitely help your company to excel.
Government is working with various partners in order to promote agricultural technologies that would help in mitigating climate change. Sylvester Shimba for Zanis, in Chipata District, Eastern Province.
Ministry of Local Government Permanent Secretary Bishop Eddie Chomba says the Arcades flyover bridge can only be compared to some bridges in America and United Kingdom. Meanwhile, Dr. Chomba has disclosed that the bridge is at 90% completion and will be in operation soon. Speaking when he visited the site for inspection this Friday morning, Dr. Chomba said he is delighted with the progress of work made and hopes that the construction is completed in possible time. He disclosed that the bridge will help in curbing traffic and save people's time. He has since directed the Lusaka City Council to maintain the surrounding areas where the bridge is located.
The longer you stay on the road, the more time you spend, the less money you make. If you are needed in town in 20 minutes time and you get there in 15 minutes time, you've made a little bit of some money, you know, and that is what is happening over here.
Guarantee the constructors, how many years guarantee are they giving the Zambian people really?
That is normally what engineers can answer to it. But let me put it to you in a layman's way. First and foremost, it's beautiful. Then we have seen that when a foreign contractor comes to do work in a country like this, even though they are engineers, they are diplomats. They're never going to come and say that they've done a better work than the other people. But Lusaka decongestion projects, this is not just about mortar and brick. Have you seen the thickness of the roads they are doing? Have you seen the bridges? Have you seen, the pavers, the curbing stones? Have you seen the way things are happening? The best way for us is we are inviting our colleagues who are critics. The bridge that you are seeing there could just be like a facade to you. Who could have dreamt that Lusaka would be the way it is? All of us, we were thinking they are destroying the roads. And when, people were, being inconvenienced, we are thinking nothing good is coming up. But look what is taking place over here. But listen, out of all these projects, there's no winner, there's no vanquished. But I think, the pedestrians and the motorists are some of the heroes. They have been patient, they've been understanding, they've been tolerant, and now it is shaping up. Everything is coming into place. Everything you are seeing, wait until the rain season. You're going to see the beauty of Lusaka. You've been downtown, Oxford Street in London, it's going to look like that. Go to Las Vegas, you're going to see the way it is, a city that never sleeps. Look at these lights that we've put up here. It's beautiful. And this is going to come into place. A word to the critics. Wait. Bola punch. We need still the doomsayers. But we are going to continue making infidels to be believers. Because it is happening. You haven't seen? It's a masterpiece. It's great works. Fly over bridge.
Health Minister Chitalu Chilufya has graced the World Mental Health Day virtually. Speaking during the daily COVID-19 update at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Chilufya has advised citizens against discriminating against people with mental disabilities. He says such people need love and care not only from their families but society as a whole. This year's World Health Mental Day is being commemorated under the theme Mental Health for All, Greater Investment, Greater Access. Meanwhile, Dr. Chilufya has disclosed that in the last 24 hours, the country has recorded 38 new cases of COVID-19 out of 3,842 tests conducted.
The government of the Republic of Zambia, under the stewardship of His Excellency President Edgar Chagwa, in its pursuit of universal health coverage, has pitched mental health as a key aspect of well-being. We note the political will towards mental health in an unmatched manner since inception. In a rare show of this political will, His Excellency the President did visit KANYAMA Youth Hospital for the very first time in 2019 at that level. And secondly, the government did pass into law the Mental Health Act number 6 of 2019, which repealed the Mental Disorders Act of 1949 that previously infringed on the rights of people affected by mental disorders. Further milestones posted by this government to show that mental health is pitched as a high priority include the establishment of a de-addiction unit at KANYAMA Hills Hospital in 2018, and we have earmarked 3 more for refurbishment and commencement of services. In human capital development, 400 psychiatric officers have been trained at KANYAMA Hills College from inception. Further, in upgrading academic programs, we've introduced mental health degree programs at the Levi Mwanawasa Medical University and a master's degree program under the University of Zambia. The MED program is part of this. Furthermore, countrymen and women, Zambia passed the national alcohol policy and it is currently being refined for implementation. The National Mental Health Council has also been put in place, and further, it is now a policy that as we expand infrastructure.
We take another set of commercials to stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you. Don't go away.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, downlights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
I have used Oracle Pure Glycerin for 2 years now. It has really worked for me. It has cleared all the black spots on my face. It has restored my skin beauty. It also smoothens the skin. Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for perfect skin. If it's not Oracle Glycerin, then it's not pure glycerin.
You're watching a live broadcast of the Camnet TV World News. We continue with international news. Coronavirus cases in England have increased rapidly, data shows, as ministers grapple with what to do next. Estimates suggest between 1 in 170 and 1 in 240 people you could meet in the streets have the virus. Both current cases and the speed at which they are increasing are much higher in the north of England than the national average. Meanwhile, the largest study of coronavirus by Imperial College London has also reported its analysis of 1,750,000 people, with the last samples taken on Monday. Across England, it says cases are continuing to increase, but not as aggressively as it was the case in the beginning of September. We monitor international news.
Coronavirus cases in England have increased rapidly, data shows, as ministers grapple with what to do next. Estimates suggest between 1 in 170 and 1 in 240 people you meet in the street has the virus. Both current cases, and the speed at which they are increasing, are much higher in the north of England than the national average. Scientific advisors warn hospital admissions are very close to levels in early March. A deluge of data shows a clear pattern of rising cases. Meanwhile, the largest study of coronavirus, by Imperial College London, has also reported their analysis of 175,000 people, with the last samples taken on Monday. Across England, it says cases are continuing to increase, but not as aggressively as at the beginning of September. But this masks a stark regional picture, with cases doubling around twice as fast in the northwest, Yorkshire and the West Midlands compared to the whole of England. It also shows there has been an 8-fold increase in cases in people over 65 as the epidemic surge that started in younger age groups bleeds into the rest of the population. Professor Stephen Riley, from Imperial, said, "I think it's clear that the prevalence is still increasing, and that if new, tougher measures were needed in northern England, then they should come in sooner rather than later." The rise in cases and people being admitted to hospital is causing mounting political concern. New rules are expected to be announced on Monday and come into force on Wednesday. The precise details are still being debated, but measures including closing pub and restaurants, or a ban on overnight stays, are on the table. Data presented to MPs by England's Chief Medical Officer, Professor Chris Whitty, appears to put the hospitality sector in the firing line, given that parts of society such as schools and universities are being kept open. It says pubs, restaurants and the hospitality sector as a whole are a major area where people testing positive for the virus have been mixing. Gillian Keegan, Minister for Skills and Apprenticeships, said the government had to act to stem the rise in cases. "This is serious, it is getting out of control, and we have to do something to bring it back under control," she said. The Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies (SAGE) says it is almost certain that the epidemic continues to grow exponentially across the country and is confident that the transmission is not slowing. Sir Mark Walport, a member of SAGE, told on the 19th of March, just before the first set of widespread restrictions.
We now get into sports news. The Zambian national soccer team has lost 2-1 to Kenya in an international friendly played in that country. The match was being played at Nyoyo Stadium. Kenya controlled the first half and were top of the proceedings in the first half and deservedly led 2-0 at halftime through Tandi Mwape's own goal and a brilliant strike by Cliff Nyakea. Chipolopolo coach Mitchell thrust all his foreign-based contingent into play from the start, but the display was disjointed as the hosts controlled the match. Zambia were punished in the 20th minute when neat interchange of play on the left saw both Zakaria and Kabasochongo beaten, with the attacker smashing his cross onto Mwape, who could do little but see the ball turn into his own goal. Zambia dominated the entire second half, and two substitute Kelvin Mubanga and Kampamba and Emmanuel Chavula combined for Chavula to pull one back with 10 minutes to play. Zambia thought they had clinched the equalizer in the 84th minute when a ball from a corner was bundled over line and hooked back, with Lubambo scoring again from the second ball, but the second assistant raised the flag in very unclear circumstances. The story is courtesy of Zamfoot Sports.
Amezungumzia wachezaji 6 wanaopiga kule nje ya Zambia, kama huyu kijana ambaye anasumbua sana tumemtaja Kangwa kule Urusi. Nimeona wachezaji kama Chidufi anacheza kule Sweden,
anakuja vizuri, anajifunga mtazamaji. Goli la kwanza hapa kwa faida ya Harambee Stars. Ndivyo mambo yalivyo, kila moja kinyanyuka kwa ajili ya kupokea vizuri kabisa goli hilo. Sud Juma,
unaambiwa mpira wa kabumbu wa hivi, ukipata nafasi usitumie unaadhibiwa. Na kwa hakika Mape, mtoto anayechezea Tipi Mazembe, atakuwa amefurahi kimanzi kuona si kwamba tu timu yake inaongoza, lakini inashambulia na kutafuta bao la pili.
Kenneth Muguna mwendelea katika njia. Cliff Nyakea anaamsha mashabiki katika uwanja huu. Naona baadhi ya wahusika wakuu katika uwanja huu wakifuatilia, lakini yupo hapa na waza na kuwazua. Amewachwa Hoibi Ntabani.
Kisha amecheza kwenye madebi, watani wale wa Yanga na Simba hapa nyumbani wakicheza Ingwe na Gor Mahia, yamezoea mashabiki, lakini wanaona huu mchezo kama wa kirafiki. Tumejua ndio wa kimataifa, lakini mazoezi haya bila mashabiki, kisa na mkasa corona.
Pembeni anatuliza, anaanza tena kunyumbuka hapa.
Bao
piga moja kali kweli kweli, mtazamaji. Anakuja vizuri angalau kupata goli hilo la kwanza kunako dakika 80 za mchezo. Mtafutaji lazima kwa vyote vile asake kwa udi na uvumba, usichoke mpaka dakika mwisho. Kwa hiyo angalau wamepata goli hilo kutokana na walinzi kidogo kusinzia kazini.
Chabula Mike,
tokea Chabula huyu.
Tumezungumzia ndoa nzuri ya hawa wachezaji wawili mabeki waliofanywa, na wakati anatoka Ian Otieno kuchukua ule mpira, palikuwepo na Duga gongana na Brian Mandela yule beki. Unaona mpaka wanazungumza wakati Ian Otieno yupo pale chini, alitarajia kwamba Mandela angeugusa ule mpira kabla hajaufikia, akasinzia kidogo na akacheka na wavu.
Item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a look at the headlines once again. Local government PS compares the Arcade's flyover bridge to those in Las Vegas. Fire sweeps through a house in LUSAKA'S KANYAMA compound. Girl 10 defiled by 22-year-old man in Mushindamo district. In international news, COVID cases increase rapidly as next steps planned. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO beaten in Kenya in international friendly. The Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Isaiah 26 verse 4, and it reads, "Trust ye in the Lord forever, for in the Lord Jehovah is everlasting strength." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, LUSAKA Kanyanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV World News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.